Hello and what's up, everyone? Welcome back to a special rapid second edition of the new year on Real Resilience with Matt LaStalia, me, your host. Happy to see you guys here. Today I wanted to talk about this idea of saying no and what that means. Oftentimes we are presented with opportunities or presented with offers or situations where saying yes, we feel obliged to say yes, or we feel like it's in our best interest to take on these new opportunities. And I wanted to discuss with you guys when saying no actually means saying yes. So let's do it. So when we're talking about these things, I want to give a particular example from my own life that just happened. This also helps explain the gap that I had in shows that have happened here, in the new year that I was discussing in the previous episode. If you guys didn't check out that previous episode, please do. It was a pretty good way to kick off the new year. I was pretty happy with it, so check it out. Let me know what you think. So what happened was I found an opportunity. I was working in a part-time sales job for a company that's based out of London, and really great people, really wonderful. I was missing the in-person contact, and I feel like I had attained the skills that I had wanted to, or that I was going to be able to from that job. And basically what I was trying to do is I was trying to look at different jobs and different things that I could do to expand my skill set, right? To expand my skills in a way that are beneficial to this business. And so I recognize that any business where mine is helping people develop skills and tools of mental resilience to be able to overcome obstacles, I recognize that business, that is the business, but no business can exist without sales and marketing. So I wanted to get some sales experience. So I was working on the sales team. And I needed to shift because it was so niche of an organization and a product that we were selling that I had kind of learned what I could from the sales portion. And from that point on, it was just going to be lather, rinse, repeat. But it was getting better at that job would have meant just getting more in depth in that specific narrow niche. And I didn't think that was beneficial for me moving forward. So I decided it was time to move on. And so I found this event coordinator position where it was labeled in the description, it's a lot about brand awareness and marketing, and I was super pumped. Like, that's exactly what I want. I had several interview process with them, went through the interviews, everything was going really well. It looks like they had a beautiful office up in Indianapolis, and so I was eventually extended the offer for employment, and I then accepted that offer. And so what I didn't know and what I was not informed of was what I would actually be doing. It had nothing to do with sales, it had nothing to do with marketing. And we can parse marketing and sales and those as definitions and try to intertwine them to the best of our ability. But at the end of the day, that's not what was really happening there. What was happening is a flow to directorship. So basically being on and which is great. The path that they have and the business model they have is great. And it's this idea that you work on this ground floor and then you work your way up for like 7-8 months and then you're basically offered a directorship. And it's real because I watched it happen with people in the very short period of time that I was there. And I got to talk to people who had started right where I was at and had worked their way up, and they're getting ready to own their own business and do what we're doing on their own in their own region. And so this is great, right? Like, this is really cool. But the problem is there was no brand awareness. There was no marketing. It was direct solicitation of foot traffic inside of large merchandisers like Sam's Club and things like that. And I don't want to get into too much detail about that business and their name and what they do, because I don't want to disparage anybody. I think the people that work there are fantastic. So I just wanted to relay to you guys what my response was. I clearly communicated with them my issues at hand, and they addressed them. They were actually very proactive. They took a meeting the next day with everybody there and asked if anybody was having any issues or any reservations about the job, and any questions that they don't feel that were answered. And it was really cool. It was really great. And so I was like, okay, I'll keep rolling with it. And so I did for a couple more days. And then I realized that, you know what, the whole purpose of me taking the job was to expand the skill set, right? To work in a specific kind of marketing, brand awareness fashion that I felt would transfer over to what I'm doing here a lot better, and ended up not doing so. And so I said no. I walked away. I let them know the reasons, and that I respected what they did, and there were no hard feelings. But I needed to move on. I needed to find something else that was more in line with what I wanted to do, and more in line with the fact that we're still a military family, and we're going to be moving at the Army's behest for, over the next half decade. So, in that story, I'm just trying to relay to you guys that in saying no to what was really an incredible opportunity to be able to make a lot of money in sales day to day, and I will say that what they were selling was great. It was a great offer for great products and great services, and I felt like selling to people in that fashion, in that business, was actually every person that I sold to or upgraded or whatever was was definitely better off than they were before they came in. So I think that's really cool. I think that's a very valuable and very valuable thing to be able to say, and very powerful thing to be able to say about a business, is that their offer truly does result in people's lives being better, spending less money, getting better service, getting better products, and that's really cool. I love it. Like I said, it just wasn't for me. And so for me, saying no there and was extremely important, because it opened up the opportunities to say yes to other things. And right now I'm saying yes to this business where I'm going to take this head on full time, 100%. And I'm going to see what we can do. Right. So I'm going to be busting out trainings. I'm going to be busting out, counseling sessions and creating more and more and more content. Like you can see, I did one yesterday. I'm doing one today. I'm going to be producing public content at least for 3 days a week. I will be creating more content every day of the week. Some of it's going to be private, and if you want access to it, then it's going to, you're going to have to put some skin in the game, so to speak. And that's the way that this is going to be able to be sustained. So if this is stuff that you believe in, then we got to put your money where your mouth is. Like if you believe it and this is making your life better, then, then I want you on board with me. I want us to grow, and I want us to be able to make people's lives better. I want your life to be better. And so we do that through creating better products. And I do that by creating better products and better services for you guys. And if you find that valuable, then freaking sweet. And so it's just one of those things where, when you think about it more generally, it's like we tend to look at opportunities like this. We can get really wrapped up in the heat of the moment, so to speak, and really we can kind of get lost in the day-to-day weeds and the minutia, and kind of get caught up in the momentum. And it's important, I think, a way to battle that and to make sure that we're staying cued in to our purpose and to that spark that we've discussed here so many times. For those that are brand new to here, when I talk about spark, I'm talking about that thing that really lights you up, that thing that energizes you when you participate in it, when you talk about it, when you are working at it, And so, there are some days when you just wake up and you're on fire, right? And nothing can stop you, and your momentum's great, and you get so much done. And so I try to do here is build replicable and repeatable pathways to that for you, and try to remove those mental obstacles that keep you from getting back there, so that way getting back to that point and getting into that spark state is easier and easier and easier. And then, because you think about it, when that happens and it's happening, let's say at the workplace, then you're really your energy is different, and the way that you communicate with people is different, and those relationships are better and they increase, and your work performance goes up. And what does that do? That boosts your your level of contentment, that boosts your satisfaction. It makes you happier in those moments, and then that carries over to the home. And when you're bringing that energy home, and you're not coming home completely exhausted and depleted and hating your life, you're bringing that positive energy and injecting that into your family. And when you're doing that with your family, then they get to spread that out to everyone else. And when you're doing that, and you have this kind of more positive, focused, natured, and cultured home, your sleep is going to be that much better, because you're getting after it, right? You're actively pursuing and actions that you find meaning in, and then that drives your energy up, it drives your relationships up, and then that can allow for a better night's sleep, because you're really giving it your all every day. So you go to sleep, get a nice good night's rest, and then you get to start it all over again, right? And find that use those blueprints that you're creating, removing more and more obstacles out of the way, and finding your way to get back to that spark state over and over again. And so it's hard to do that when you're accepting on too much. So this might be an offer at work. This might be like an opportunity for a project at work, and you don't want to be the person that says no. But like I said, when you take too much on, you're at work and you end up taking too much projects on, then you spread yourself too thin, then your performance actually goes down, right? And when your performance goes down, then that gets noticed by the people around you and the people assigning you projects. And then, you kind of get this negative, too much weight on your shoulders feeling, and then you're starting to bring that home. And you don't want to do that, right? And we're putting obstacles in our way that will prevent us from staying in and getting back to that spark state. You don't want to do that, right? We want that spark state. That's the money shot. That's where life is at its best. And it doesn't matter how much money you're making. And if you have enough money from your job to be able to put 3 squares on the table, you keep a roof over your head, lights running and everything, and a little bit on the side to build up your savings, then find your way to that spark state. Some people can do that in their position now. Some people need to leave their job and find it somewhere else. You got to find the right places to say no and the right places to say yes. Because no isn't always the answer, but oftentimes, at least for me, I know that I am very inclined to yes. Like, let me do it. I'll be the first one to do it. I will dive in head first. I'll give it everything I got. But then I might end up saying that to too many things, and everything I got, this jar of everything I got, gets depleted down to a smaller amount in that jar, so that everything I got to go into the next one isn't as much. And like I said, spreading yourself out too thin, projects are hindered from it, and you can feel it. When it's happening, because when you're crushing it, when you're spread out too thin. So you've got to start to acknowledge that and realize that on the front end, and know that, hey, I'm giving X, Y, and Z my full attention right now, and I will, if I can get done with X, I will happily take on A, this other one that you're presenting. But right now, I don't know if that's a good fit, because I'm afraid that everything's going to suffer because of my inability to give it the proper amount of attention. And when you're able to communicate it that way to leadership, who is, looking at you to lean on you for these new projects, that oftentimes they're going to respect that, and they might work with you to try to find a solution to say, oh, you know what, actually Y can be put on hold for a little bit if you can put focus on A. It's something you can work out together. But the more clear you are in your goals, the easier we can take the appropriate actions and take the appropriate yeses, and look at those things that might come on, that might sound like good in the moment, and might jazz you up. It helps to kind of put those into perspective. If you're constantly looking at what your goals are, and you're constantly looking at what you're trying to achieve, then you can see like, oh, this would be a really cool opportunity, but you know what? It just doesn't really fit in. Like, this is a whole different avenue. I'm going to go down a whole different road than I want to go on for the life that I know that I want. And so maybe these smaller projects are good, but that really big project that's going to move me out over here, and I'm going to have to, spend so much time learning about this thing that I'm really trying to use my extra time to gen up my skills for like your side hustle or whatever. Maybe it's time to say no to that. But maybe that's the opportunity you've been waiting for. Maybe it's directly in line with your beliefs and your goals and who you define yourself as being. And then you can say yes. And so we have to start slowing down the thinking when it comes to opportunities that are coming our way. People that are coming to us and presenting us with opportunities, they're coming to us because they see that our participation in it benefits their path, right? Everyone is on their path to that spark, to live in that state, and they're trying for improvement and all of these things. And so when they're coming to you with that, they're trying to make you a part of their improvement. And so that can work if it's a part of your improvement too. And if it's not, then you might want to slow down, reassess, and figure out if it's the right thing for you or not. And really, that's it. I want to do a quick one today to let you guys know a little bit more about why I've been missing in action. And now that I'm back, and now I'm ready to really tear it up with you guys. And I'm super excited. I'm so pumped. This is going to be so good. We have amazing things coming up, and I'll keep you informed as they continue to unfold. All right. Love you guys. Have a great day. Have an amazing weekend. And I look forward to seeing you again on Monday for another episode on Real Resilience with Matt LaStalia.